All right, second grade, welcome to our virtual class. So before we begin our lesson, I just want you to ask you a question. I want to give you 30 seconds to think about it. So think of a time when you were walking in the park with your mom and you saw a really cool looking plant and you wanted to touch it so badly and your parents said no. Why do you think they would say no? I'll give you 30 seconds to think about that. Alright, so now that I've given you some time to think about that, so the reason they probably told you to stay away from that plant is because it's a dangerous plant. Dangerous means that it can hurt you really badly. So today, our lesson is going to be about dangerous plants. So today, we're going to be learning about what a dangerous plant is. So today, first we'll be learning about what makes a plant safe, what makes a plant unsafe. And then we'll be playing a mini game to identify which plants are safe and which plants are unsafe. And then we'll be going over the assignment for our next class, which will be a discussion class. So for this lesson, we'll be learning how to make observations of plants so that we can compare the diversity of life in other habitats. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to compare with 100% accuracy, compare and contrast differences between safe and unsafe plants. So, let's get started. There are 3 ways that a plant can be unsafe. So, the first thing is scary berries, and I'm going to read this for you so you can follow along. Some plants have berries on them. They can make you very sick if you eat them. Do not eat the berries. So at these 2 pictures right here, these are called nightshade berries. What colors do you see in the berries? Yes, that's right. So you can see red nightshade berries and you can see black nightshade berries. So if you see these in the park and the trees, you know not to eat them because they can make you very sick. And these are very similar. These are called pyracantha berries. If you eat them, they can make your stomach feel really sick. So like nightshade berries, you don't want to eat the pyracantha berries when you go to the park. So that is how we can have some scary berries. So next thing we have lethal leaves. Lethal comes from the word lethal, which means it can hurt you really badly. So let's read this next section here. Some leaves poke you when you touch them. Other leaves will make you itch all over. Look out for these leaves, and if you see them, don't touch them. Yes, good. So these are nettle leaves, and you can see here they have little spikes at the top of them. So when you touch them, they're going to hurt you badly. I remember stepping on one of those once when I was barefoot running in the grass. It hurt so bad I started crying. So don't step on the nettle leaves. And then here in this picture we have poison ivy. You might have heard of this one before. So how many leaves can you see on the stem? Let's count. So this is the stem in the middle right here. Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3 leaves. So you know that poison ivy has 3 leaves on them and they look just like this. So you know that when you encounter them at the park, don't touch the poison ivy or you will itch all over. And it's not a pleasant feeling. I know people who have encountered poison ivy. It's not fun, trust me, on that. So we have berries, leaves. Another part of the plant is the root, and roots, believe it or not, can kill you too. So next we have brutal roots, and this comes from the word brutal, which also means can hurt you really badly. So let's read this passage here. Roots help plants grow big and strong, but some of them can hurt you. In some cases, you could die. Stay away from these roots and do not eat them. So like the leaves and like the berries, don't touch them, don't eat them. So this here is called a hemlock root. That's pretty big, don't you think? I would say so. So in the middle here, you can see there's a little bit of reddish purple in there. That's how you can tell that that's a hemlock root, and then that's how you can tell it can touch it. And in fact, this yellow right here, it says that these roots can kill a cow if eaten. So like if a cow were to find this plant and they were to eat the root, it could die. That's how deadly this root is. So that's how dangerous this plant is. And then these are moringa roots, and just like the pyracantha berries a few slides back, if you were to touch or eat these, you could get some mild stomach pain. They might not kill you, but they're certainly not as dangerous as the hemlock root, but you still don't want to touch them or eat them. So, what do you think you should do if you encounter some of these plants and you touch them on accident? I'll give you some time to think about this. Alright, those are some good suggestions. So, on the next slide, we will find some tips to help you stay safe from these unsafe plants. So, there's 4 things that you should really do. So, the first thing is do not touch a plant that you don't recognize, that means you don't know what it is, unless someone says it's okay. So, let's say you're walking through the park with your mom again, and you say, "Hey, Mom, that's a really cool plant. Can I touch it?" And if your mom says yes, go ahead and touch it, then that's okay. But if your mom says, no, I don't think you should touch that plant, or I'm not sure, then you probably shouldn't touch it because it could hurt you. So the next thing is always wear gloves when you are gardening. So, like in this picture right here, you can see this green check mark. That means she has gloves on while she's gardening. So just in case she were to touch a dangerous plant, she wouldn't get itchy because her gloves are protecting her. This person, this cartoon right here, is not wearing gloves. And as you can see, it's really kind of hard to see, but there's a little rash he's got going there. So because he touched the dangerous plant, he got hurt. So make sure to wear gloves when you're gardening in case you touch some dangerous plants so you don't get a rash or hurt. Third thing, if you're unsure, ask an adult for help. If you ask an adult for help, they will surely know what to do in that situation. And last but certainly not least, probably the most important, if you touch a poisonous plant on accident, tell an adult right away. So if you were to eat one of those berries, or if you touched poison ivy and you can start to feel sick or itchy all over, tell someone right away so they can help you, and maybe they'll help you take a bath to relieve it, or they might take you to the doctor, to the hospital. Just make sure you tell someone right away so that things don't get so serious. Alright, so now that we have gone through our lesson, we are going to play a game. So it's mini game time. So here are the directions. There's going to be 2 pictures side by side, and one of them is going to be from a safe plant. One of them is going to be from an unsafe plant. If a plant is unsafe, yell "unsafe" through your microphone. And if a plant is safe, you yell "safe" through your microphone. And be ready to tell us why it is safe or unsafe. So, here we go. Here's the first one. We have some berries here, and we have some berries here. I'm going to put my cursor over one of the berries, and you tell me whether it is unsafe or safe. Ready, go. Yes, so you should have said that these are, what are these? Yes, these are blueberries. So blueberries, I mean, you can eat blueberries. Some people really like to eat blueberries, so these blueberries are safe. These are those nightshade berries we were talking about, and these berries are unsafe. Very good. All right, let's go on to the next round. Here we go. So this one might be a little tricky. One hint that you may want to do is count the leaves on each stem. So here's the stem here, here's the stem here. All right, and if you're still stuck, so again, I can help you with this one. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves on a stem. But here we have 1, 2, 3 leaves on a stem. Now, if you remember from before, which plant had 3 leaves and made you very itchy if you touched it? Yes, the poison ivy is the correct answer. So, this one is the unsafe plant, and this one is the safe plant. Alright, we're going to do one more round. Here we go. And these are the roots of plants, so. Alright, now this one might be a little tricky too. So, this one is the hemlock root, so that is the unsafe plant. And remember, you can tell because if you look really closely here, you can see that reddish purple coloring, which the hemlock root had. And remember, the hemlock root was so dangerous that it can kill a cow if it eats it. This is just roots for flowers, and flowers are so pretty. You shouldn't eat flowers, but they're not dangerous. You can smell them and you're not going to get hurt. So these are flower roots, these are hemlock roots. The hemlocks is unsafe and the flowers are safe. So congrats! Now you know your safe and your unsafe plants. Congratulations, thumbs up. So for the next class, we have a worksheet that is due. You just click the link to it here. So you will be filling out these questions here, and my leg is going crazy, but we're going to do this. So it is important to know which plants are safe and which plants are unsafe. So you're going to answer the following questions, and then I will tell you how to send that to me. So first question, you'll list 3 ways a plant can be unsafe. Then you're going to name 2 safe plants and 2 unsafe plants. And the safe plants can be whatever you can think of. Unsafe plants, think of the ones we did for our presentation. And maybe you can ask your mom and dad, too, if they can think of any safe and unsafe plants. And question 3, what should you do if you find an unsafe plant and you touch it on accident? And then the 4th question is kind of an on your own question. So if you were a plant, would you be a safe or an unsafe plant, and why? And what would you look like? Because, you know, the nightshade berries were black and red, the poison ivy had 3 leaves, the hemlock root had that reddish purple coloring at the top. So if you were a plant, what would you look like? Would you be safe, unsafe, and why is that? So once you finish that sheet, have your mom or dad help you email the worksheet to me or whoever else you are living with. And then in our next class, be ready to discuss those questions in our next meeting. So before we go, just a little quick story. My cousin and I were playing in the park, and I saw this really cool looking plant. Had 3 leaves just like this one, 1, 2, 3, and I was going to touch it. But my cousin pushed me out of the way and she said, "Leaves of 3, leave them be." That's a good poem to help you remember that you should not be touching poison ivy because it can itch you all over. And she told me that she learned that from one of her teachers in science class, so seeing this is a science class, I should probably tell you that's a very important thing to know. So, leaves of 3, leave them be. Leaves of 3, leave them be. And if you want, you can tell your parents, make sure they know. Leaves of 3, leave them be. Just very helpful. Alright, that concludes our science lesson for the day. Just remember, stay safe from illness and from dangerous plants. You don't want to get hurt by any of those. And yeah, that is the end of our lesson. I hope you have a great day, students. We will see you next time. Bye.